How did you firstly get into the industry? What kind of inspired you to get in the industry in the first place?
Well, that is actually an unusual story, because I actually got involved in this industry at very early age. I started working in advertising when I was 15. And I remember when I was around 9 or 10 years old, there was this show in Brazil on TV, a very obscure kind of cult type of variety show. And that show will broadcast everything about advertising, but you always frame the Cannes Lions festivals. I still have a box with nearly 8 years of the Cannes Lions Festival recorded on VHS, when the show was showing. So by the time I made to university, I was a bloody advertising encyclopedia.
Yeah.
If I rewind, there was a big moment for me, which was kind of the proof that I think when I first felt that I was doing the right thing, I was in the right track, which was when I had my first international award, right? That was back in 2002 or 3. I think I remember it was 2023. Yeah. So that was already with my startup little agency, and it was a wonderful year. Obviously, it was the first time that I was exposed to a big, Cannes Lions, and I always watched that since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I wanted for a project that I've done pretty much everything on my own, from the idea, the design, art direction, and even some of the coding involved on that.
Yeah, but how amazing to live your dream so early, when you've been immersed in that through basically your teen years, and then to actually, by the age of 23, to be shortlisted for the Cannes Lions, something that you'd be inspired by,
It was great. I said it was great because it did, at the same time, it showed me, right, I think you've got it right, but it gave me a lot of anxiety, because the most difficult thing is, can you keep that? Can you keep going? Yeah. But the most important thing for me, to be honest, it wasn't just the award in itself. It was an emotional thing of me having the opportunity to pick up those awards with my dad, my old man, the guy that inspired me, that introduced me to creativity, really. It was special. I think it really helped to solidify into that, all right, I gave back I made him proud, and this guy invested so much on me. So that was cool.
You've got a real kind of range to your creativity, and what we'd call at the Blueprint as a commercial creative. It's just not all about the award shows. It's about how you can help the brand to perform better, and to drive the bottom line as well, which is so important, especially these days, and particularly in 2020 as well, I believe. But is there something that you'd pick out in your career? Like, what is it, that you're proudest of in your career to date?
Oh man, I consider myself absolutely privileged, because I had the opportunity to work with people a lot smarter than me, and learn from people a lot smarter than me. When I started working with Beats, it wasn't a very known brand, even in America. It was a big moment, because I pretty much have seen the origin, the little small business, and I had the opportunity to work with these brilliant people to make it into a global brand. And I think, the access, working and being able to learn from Dre, from Jimmy Iovine and Omar Johnson, is that kind of experience that, now looking back, I say, how the fuck that even happened? When you look at Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine, those guys are some of the most successful producers in the world. But there are also creative directors. So these guys, they are used to listening to an album, picking a track, calling a director, and shooting a music video in a week for peanuts, and then the fucking music video will get like hundreds of millions of views. Do you know what I mean? So that was the first thing for me, the idea of bringing the process, the old school advertising process, to guys that used to have hits on a weekly basis. It was inconceivable. It wouldn't work. I can't imagine me going to Jimmy or Dre and say, all right, mate, can you write me a proper briefing? Or, all right, now I have the briefing, I'll get back to you in 4 weeks. And no, it's not gonna happen. So it was really forced me to really look at things in a whole different perspective. And that's why also I think the music industry always had a deep impact in the way that I function, and is where I draw most of my references from.
Fantastic. And that was it, because I think, at the time, with RGA, they were known more as an innovation, more of a kind of a digital agency. I think they were kind of put within that bracket. And I know at the time, they did do some advertising work, but I think that really set the platform for RGA as well. And I think off the back of what you're talking about with the stories, it's kind of creating ecosystems around brands. And it just seems like Beats by Dre was everything from film and ads and billboard and even Beats Music that's now Apple Music. It's like RGA just kind of created this amazing ecosystem around that brand, and I know looked to kind of replicate that, and that's what RGA was becoming so well known for. And that helped you to with London, to triple the size of the agency and to build something behind that. And I know you set up Hustle in LA to build a closer relationship with Beats as well, and all the awards that were won off the back of it. And you're what we would call a left and right brain creative. There's not many creatives that could do that, because it's either, you're either one way or the other, but you managed to put that together, So I think that for me is one of the, very impressive. I think when I look at creativity and you think about a brand and what's been built, I think yourself and what you created there was incredibly impressive.
Thank you very much for that. I think, again, it is just having the privilege of learning from the people that I had, and I also, I always believe on the hybrid, thinking. Yeah, I think technology, is the only thing that consistently disrupts the marketplace, and technology creates new grammars, new languages for creativity every time. So I do believe that you can't think about, the storytelling side if you don't also think about the systematic side, because you're doing half of the job. So I truly believe on that.